Hello YouTube, don't mind the hair, just kind of woken up. I'm a late bloomer on this. So anyway, how to buy a typewriter. Now you're probably asking yourself why anybody would need a typewriter. There's a few benefits of it. One of them being, if you've ever used a typewriter, you would realize quickly that it is probably the most fulfilling way to write. You can make love notes, manuscript, personal letters, and it actually looks really nice, really old school and professional. But not only that, but you can actually write longer on a typewriter. When you're on a typewriter, there's no LEDs in your eyes. Your eyes are very sensitive to computers. Back in the day, writers actually would write all day long on a typewriter and they wouldn't get tired. So typewriters have that effect as well, and also they can speed up the process with just having paper in front of you. There's nothing like it. It's just a lot quicker to write with these things. Now I would say that if you're writing on a typewriter and you make a mistake, it's okay. You can actually backspace on them and put X's through your writings and make corrections with a pen. And also, with that being said, you can scan the image that you make of each thing that you write, and there's certain programs, it's OCR programs, they actually can scan your image and then put it into a text file. So you don't even have to redo everything. It'll actually copy everything that's on your page after you scan it on a scanner and put it into a Word file, so you don't have to reformat. So with that being said, you'll make probably a lot more manuscripts, short stories, letters, poetry, things like that. That is the benefit of having a typewriter. Now, let me get into typewriter models. Now the best models are up for discussion. The best models that you can get are really a matter of opinion. There's Smith Corona, there's this, which is Olympia. There is quite a few different models of typewriter. Me personally, I wanted the Olympia because, for one, it is pretty much perfect for writing manuscripts or novels. I'm a novelist, I'm an author, so for me this was actually the best choice. Now this is an SM3. The SM3 model is actually it does everything that is needed for a typewriter, at least to me. I got really lucky with my model because there were no faults with it, but also I've actually researched it, so I want to try to help you out here on seeing if you can not make the same mistakes that I made. Firstly, when buying a typewriter, you have to look at different outlets where you can buy it. You can go to any pawn shop that's around. You do run the risk of trying to find one that is operational. If you go to a pawn shop, it's going to be the most cheapest for you. Prices range between, I would say, maybe $25 to about maybe $150. If you're paying anything more than that for a typewriter, what you're paying for is the vintage of the typewriter. So if you go into those places, what you're going to need to do is bring some paper, and so when you go to the pawn shop, request that you actually can use the typewriter to see if it'll work out for you. So in that paper, check all the keys. The main thing is to make sure that the keys actually press onto it for each button. If all the buttons work and are functional and they're actually moving parts that aren't making any weird noises or fidgeting or anything like that, then you know that the typewriter can actually write for you during the time when you need to use it. Also check any of the other features like the rolling pad, the fault mechanisms, just any function at all on the typewriter. Just make sure that it works, so that way you are aware of the problems. Now if it is dim on the writing, as long as you can see it hitting the paper that you're showing and it's hitting it hard, that's actually a really good sign. Usually that means that the ribbon is actually bad. Now ribbons, if you find a bad ribbon, do not make that be the make or break. Ribbons you can buy on Amazon for about $8, and they're really easy to replace. I'll show you that. Ribbons are literally, you take these out you pull this ribbon over and then you take this out, and then when you put the new ribbon in, you actually feed it through to the other side. There's nothing really to it, it's just putting it back into place. So those are about $8, and then it'll make everything not dim anymore. It'll actually brighten everything up and really have brand new ink into it. Now for this model, that leads me to where I got my model from. I got it from eBay. Now eBay is pretty risky. With eBay, you can't really, there's not a whole lot that you can do as far as testing goes. With each person that sells those things online, there's a couple things that you need to look out for. One of them being is if they're actually showing them typing onto paper to show that everything is functional. My eBayer actually did have that. And look at their reviews. I can't stress that enough. If they have less than 10 reviews, I would be very wary of what they're about to sell to you. Try to look for something like in the 100 range. Look through all of that. If they don't really have anything that's like above 98%, it's still pretty risky, because like I said, these are vintage items and they do break. But there are some that haven't been used, because during the 70s, people, they tend to buy them, but then they wouldn't really use them. It's sort of like buying a printer, you know, you don't use it as often, maybe for office work. So some of these are actually really mint condition. So with that being said, eBay, you have to really just look at everything that they're saying. If you have any questions, do not hesitate on asking them to provide you with info on it or photos. If they aren't willing to give you that, do not bother with them. They're not going to be credible for you. So be wary of that. Also with eBay, the prices that you see on their listing are going to go up, especially if it's a good quality item. This item, I ended up paying $135 for it, and I was the last eBayer, and I finally I placed the last bid, and I ended up winning by about like 50 cents, and I got lucky with it. So with me, you really got to be on top of it as far as the listing goes. If you look for returns also with the eBayer. If the eBayer doesn't have returns, that's another tip off for it. When you receive it, it's gonna, if it's shipped really badly, there's not anything on the package that shows that it's fragile, or they didn't really take the time to actually, you know, really make it heavy duty into the shipping. Really check about what the item is and see if it works properly. If it's not working properly, send it back with the return. Like I said, you're going to need returns to help insure you as a buyer. Now, the best website to go to, that leads me to Etsy, etsy.com. That site is perfect for typewriters, because all the people that are on there usually are repairing things, or they're providing really good info, and they actually know what they're talking about with typewriters. Now, with Etsy, the prices are final. There's no good deals that you can get. So a lot of these prices range from, like, if you want a good typewriter, if you want a specific model, it's a perfect site for that, because you're gonna get exactly what you need and it'll most likely work. The only issue is that you're gonna have to pay a lot of money for those items, because you're getting the confidence in that item knowing that you're gonna have exactly what you're paying for. So that's the only downside with it, but it is a good site to buy from. Right now I'm just going to show you what this model is and how it functions and things like that. So as you can tell, you're hearing a really good clicking noise. Lift this up, that's fine. Push it all the way back. Push this down, and you actually can start. If you hear a good slapping noise, that's good. That's what you need. is a really, really good slapping noise. And then you gotta check all this, make sure that these are slapping well as well, and make sure the backspace still works, a tab still works with clear and set. Like I said, this typewriter is going to be a lot different than most, but they pretty much all have the same sort of functionality with it. This is the hold tab for making sure everything's capital. Also make sure that if it's a German model, some of these models they're going to have the Z and I believe another letter mixed up because if it's a German model. So look for that, make sure that it's actually a QWERTY keyboard. And also for this one specifically, the 1 is missing. I don't have the 1 button, so you have to actually write out 1 when you're typing. So look for that. Also this button here, it moves it back. If you move this back, it has this thing here. This actually flips out. So make sure that it's all centered. Then there's the key lock. Key lock actually locks everything. Make sure that if that's still on, that's not going to tip you off either. Because sometimes these people at the pawn shops, the lock will be on, but they don't know how to use it, and they assume that it's broken. So if the lock's on, then you'll actually maybe come up on a good price on the typewriter. So that's about it. And that's it, YouTube. As far as buying a typewriter, I really wish you good luck. If you have any questions, just give me a comment on the bottom, and I'll be more than happy to try and help you out. I can look at a listing if you want. I mean, just message me and see what you think. And typewriters are really awesome. They're perfect for Instagram posts if you're a writer or poet. If you need to write novels, if you want to write love letters, or just like the whole vintage look, typewriters are definitely worth it. They're really, really cool, and everybody can appreciate them. They're cool to show off to your friends and things like that. And also a lot of them are portable, so you can take them out anywhere, and they don't require any batteries or anything like that. So if it's you know, bad weather or anything like that, you can still write. Can't, you know what I mean? It's the technology is only going to go so far. These things, they're pretty heavy duty. They're going to last you a little bit as long as you take care of them. So with that being said, I want to sign off today onto YouTube, and I hope you guys have a great day, and I hope that this is definitely enjoyable for you. So peace out.